What's up, everyone? Welcome to a very special Christmas Eve showdown primetime breakdown. My name is Kevin Allen, aka the Geek from DFS Army. I've got my boy Bobbywow, aka Bobby Millions, aka Bobby Duckets with me, and we're taking a look at the Saturday two-game slate on FanDuel and Draftkings. One of my favorite styles of slates. Love two gamers. Let's do this. Oh shit! It's Chief ST, aka the Geek, and Kenya McGee, DFS Army Players Club VIP. Motherfuckers, let's do this. Yo, me and my homies, we're tighter than a glove. We chop a lot of game, how we do it at the Players Club. Check the fool, or kick it in the tub, cause we kick much ass at the Players Club. It's time to kick it with the Army crew. VIP, you know how we do. Gonna smash the top, make them look like bitches. In our pocket, we'll possess mad riches. Winning cash is our forte. When we smash a daily fantasy, gather that cream, gonna get a tune. Living that dream, drinking Blue Moon. Yo, we make lineups differentiate between cash and GPP where we correlate. Ask me about the lineup, I'll say it looks great. All about that love, I ain't trying to hate. Yo, people ask what Bobbywow would do. Fade the chalk, I unfriend you. More money for your bankroll. Stick to the script and make your pocket swole.
Since Geek's first week sneak peek lines, y'all can see where we headed. If y'all have any other DFS coaches, y'all need to get them. Yep, this season your boys are back on the block. Helmets, casket, the top. Yeah, same old shit. Yeah, chicks love the boys in the VIP. Saying, hey, Poppy, we so B.I.G. It's Players Club, exclusive, DFS Army.
Right, that's how we do it. Motherfuckers, we out. All right, busted out with the Players Club intro for this one because that's how excited I am.
Whew.
I'm out of breath a little bit because I'm in the background.
Yeah, I was like a 5 out of 10 energy-wise before that video. I'm like an 11 now. So yeah, that's exactly what we needed.
Gasses me up every time. I love it. So we're back. My favorite style of slate. We've got a two-gamer. We've got actually two of the better games, oddly enough. Two of the better games, I think, of the entire Christmas weekend slate set for Saturday, Christmas Day. Just picture this, Bobbywow. Okay, you've had your beautiful meal with your beautiful family, right? Ham, slicing, turkey, carving, mashed potato, all of that stuff. It's all like you're feeling good. It's 4 o'clock, and you get to sit the whole rest of the day. Family, guys, if you want to have talk, family talk, that's cool, but football's on. So, shh. Daddy's watching. Daddy's watching football. And that's it. And you get to enjoy, that's the most festive day ever. You have all the festivities. The kids open the presents. They're in the little onesie pajamas, running down. They're so excited, ripping over. You have everybody comes over, aunt, uncles, your neighbor, he comes over all the time for events. Kids call him, everybody's here. They have the nice meal. The kids are playing. They're still in the pajamas. They're so excited they didn't even go and change. They're still wearing the onesies. And then football starts. And then you're like, listen, straight up, Daddy's watching football now. Everybody out. That's how we do it. And that's what it's going to be like tomorrow. So we've got a really... Hey, Sunsu, what's up, my man? Love it. That's what happens when we got a day off. Even Sunsu can hang out during the daytime. Love it. So here we are with a two-game beautiful slate. Let me pop this on screen and start breaking it down. So we've got the Browns at the Packers and the Colts at Arizona. And what's interesting about these two games is they are both actually some of the better games of the entire slate. Like when you look at the Browns Packers, that's a good game. It's not super competitive. Packers are somewhat favored, but it's a 46 point total. A lot of good DFS pieces coming out of this game. Browns getting a lot of their players back, getting Baker Mayfield back. Packers without Martez Valdez-Scantling. Okay, on the next game, Colts-Arizona, that's a very close game. 49 point total, 1 point spread. Cardinals home, 1 point favorites. That's a really close one. So the first thought is, which game brings out the DFS goodness? And, at first look, I mean, there's a lot of goodness to go around here. You've got Devontae Adams, the Packers, no Martez Valdez-Scantling. That brings in some interest in Lazard as a turd, for example, cheapy play. The Browns, you never know what you're going to get, really. We have to take a look at who's active, who's playing, what the story is with some of their offense, especially Kareem Hunt. Can you play Chubb? Maybe Chubb is going to be this attractive running back. Maybe we should avoid Chubb, like what happened last time, because he doesn't get receptions. Now, on the flip side, the Colts at the Cardinals. This is a really great game. We've got Jonathan Taylor, going to be supreme chalk. Everybody likes Michael Pittman. We got those turdly tight ends for the Colts. We'll have to see. And then, of course, Kyler Murray, no DeAndre Hopkins means that we can expect elevated production out of the rest of them, be it Zach Ertz or Christian Kirk or Rondale Moore. On the Cardinal side, the running back situation is in flux as well. We got to take a look at who's healthy and who's not. Connor, Chase, I think Connor might not play. Well, let's get a quick update on James Conner, and if anybody knows, because this is going to be really important stuff. If Connor doesn't play, for example, I believe he'll suit up. Failing to practice, received a questionable tag, decision with Cliff Kingsbury. So will he or won't he? Will he or won't he for James Conner? The running back situation is going to be very tricky, but I think as we get started, let's take a look at these two teams and just kind of break down what these teams look like and how these games should play out. So just on a macro overview, let's take a look here at the Packers and the Browns. And you could see that with the Packers, they're favored by 7.5. They're in a good spot. Some of the tricky parts with the Packers, their running game is a little bit tricky to get figured out because Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are in, at this point, what appears to be really close to a real split. It does look like last week Aaron Jones got a little bit more elevated in terms of his touches compared to Dillon. Although Dillon is likely to be in these games, on the goal line. Bobbywow, have you noticed that A.J. Dillon is in there at the goal line more now? I mean, last week, have you seen anything like this to give us any reason why we should be interested in Dillon really at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think Dillon is one of the better backup or RB2 options on the slate. I mean, I think you're absolutely right. The Packers love giving him the ball and having him, ground and pound at the goal line as well. It's so tough to say because Aaron Jones is one of these guys that can score 4 touchdowns and rush for 100 yards. But at the same time, they love Dillon. He's getting 40% of the snaps. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a really interesting leverage spot. He's one of my favorite leverage plays on the slate, I think.
I don't think it will be popular. We'll take a look at ownerships in a minute. And guys, we're going to take you through this. We have a lot of time. If you're hanging out with us on Christmas Eve right now, there's probably a reason that you're able to. So we're going to hang out. There's no DFS really going on today that we have to worry about. So we're going to chill. We're going to break this thing down, and we're really going to go all in on this slate because I love these two gamers. And one of the things that you can count on this late in the season is the teams start to do what they're best at. Like they just start to do what they're best at. I don't know how else to put it. Teams come together. We really know these teams well after 15 games of action. And so we really can tell for the most part what to expect. So Jones, Dillon, it does look like Jones still will be the primary, and he's going to be a popular enough play, but it's a tough matchup. Cleveland defense is certainly very good against the run. Davante Adams, now that you've got Davante Adams with no MVS, with no real competition at tight end, can you even make a lineup without Davante Adams tomorrow? I like Davante Adams. The question is let's bring up his ownership. Is probably, my guess is we're going to see 80%. Yeah, there you go. So Davante Adams, that's essentially fully owned. We saw last week, any fading of Kupp didn't help you on that slate.
No,
on the last 2 gamer. Yeah.
And we're all for making these, sharp fades. Again, we said it with Cooper Kupp. It's the same thing here. Davante Adams really is not a sharp fade. I think we're going to see when we build lineups just how much he restricts salary. And I don't think it's going to be, as much as it should. So he's a smash play on the slate. It doesn't matter who's covering him. Like you said, MVS is out. That's even more of a bump. So it's going to be really hard to not build with him in a lineup.
It's funny that we're seeing Jonathan Taylor's projection a little bit lower than Davante Adams in terms of ownership, just by 10%. But it's funny to me because, it's kind of the same thing. And here's what's interesting when you talk about these chalk guys, just in general, you're just talking about the chalkiest player, come back to Davante Adams, is Davante Adams doesn't have to put up a 40 or a 35. It's not like a main slate. He just has to put up, 17, and he's probably in the nuts lineup because that's how these 2 gamers go. So the strategic fade doesn't work as well as it might on a main. Like if I didn't think Jonathan Taylor was in the greatest spot, I'm going to fade him, but he puts up 16, and that kills you on the main slate. But that might be enough on a 2 gamer. So we do have to keep that in mind. Now, continuing through on the Packers side, I think obviously Lazard, who is priced fairly well here, 4,100, 5,200, going to be a low cost piece. The interest in him is elevated with Martez Valdez-Scantling out in this game. Somebody's got to catch the passes. I like Lazard a lot. He may be one of my favorites. We'll see. Who do you think is going to mix in here? Is it going to be Equanimeous or Juwan Winfrey? Because it does look like Juwan Winfrey got a few snaps last week, whereas Equanimeous St. Brown did not. Do you know what the story behind that is?
Yeah, it's interesting because you look at the depth chart, and Amari Rodgers is actually the guy right behind MVS. We know that depth charts don't always tell the whole story, and that's pretty clear. Pretty clear by this matchup sheet. Both of those guys played last week. They both played on special teams primarily, and you're right. Winfrey was the guy that took snaps at wide receiver. So to me, he's the most logical option as next in line, followed by, I think, Equanimeous St. Brown, and then I'm totally blanking on the name now. Then Rodgers as the third. So I think Winfrey is probably the third guy. If you want to get some exposure behind Lazard, he'd be the guy.
Yeah, I think you do need to get some exposure to a guy like that. That is, that's the showdown turd of interest. You're going to play that guy who's like 200 in the showdown, and if he does a little something, it could be enough. 7s, 8s, 9s. It's going to come down to 7s, 8s, 9s for that last spot on the slate, especially if things hold up and for example, Taylor and Adams are kind of good plays. It's going to take a turd or 2 in your lineup to get you there. So you got to mix those guys in. At tight end for the Packers, you might not know this, but me and Josiah go back like babies and pacifiers. Josiah DeGura. 56% of the snaps, 19% of the touches. And of course, Mercedes Lewis, the old man, got mixed in last week a little bit, but not for much for the season. But, Mercedes is always live for a touchdown reception, more so now. And Josiah, Josiah is a little better for whatever that's worth. The fact that Josiah got a little song for him, it's usually a good sign.
That pushed me over the edge with him. I think I'm all in.
It's usually a good sign. That's worked out well in the past. Any kind of nickname, Ichmir, Josiah,
that's true.
Song tends to work out. So little hints if you're ever watching these shows. Cleveland is a little bit of a tougher team to break down here, but I'm never excited about Baker Mayfield ever. Never excited about Baker Mayfield. I don't think he will have a lot of ownership. I just think he's just not a guy who puts up a lot of points most of the time. Although I will remind people that last year, all of a sudden, Baker Mayfield woke up like the last 3 games of the season and just had monster games. So he does have it in his range of outcomes to all of a sudden have a big game, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, I think what stands out to me, Geek, is just looking back on the other 2 gamers we've had, the super, super low owned QB exposure has been guys like Garrett Gilbert, people that actually totally have no hope of being good. Nick Mullins is another guy. We're seeing Baker at even lower projected ownership than those guys came in at. And he's much, much, much more talented at the position. So I'm not saying he's going to play well. He's been on the COVID list. Probably hasn't been able to practice with the team at all. But that said, I don't mind taking some shots on him. I mean, the ownership projection is super, super low, it feels like.
I think there's reason for it. Part of it is that other slate, none of the quarterbacks were like so incredibly standout. Whereas here you've got Kyler Murray and Aaron Rodgers and Carson Wentz, and they all look just a lot better than a Baker Mayfield. That's probably fair. The reasoning. That's probably the best reason. But you're right. Listen, we've seen Baker Mayfield in his career have 30-point fantasy output. So what are the chances of him doing that again? Maybe 5%, 1 in 20. You know what I mean? It's not like that insane relative to your odds of winning a tournament. So, you have to keep that in mind. Somebody's asked about Jair Alexander. Is he coming back? I don't know if it matters, by the way, Andrew. I don't know.
He has been ruled out, so he will not be back.
He won't be back anyway. But I was going to say it doesn't matter that much. Even if he's on Donovan Peoples-Jones, so what? The Browns don't have a number 1 style wide receiver that matters for an elite cornerback. You just whoever's on his side, you just go away from it. It's not like Ramsey when the opposing team only has 1 elite player. And we'll deal with that on the Sunday slate. But like when it's Jalen Ramsey and they only have DK Metcalf, like last week, you knew he was going to be on Metcalf. But when it's Jalen Ramsey and it's like against the Jets, like who are you going to put him on? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Browns, like who are you going to put him on? Rashard Higgins? I don't know. They don't have any number 1.
Travis Landry.
Yes, there's Landry's slot receiver. Is he the number 1? I don't know.
He's got to be. Yes. Come on. DPJ? Rashard?
I make the face of indifference.
You're agnostic to that idea?
I'm agnostic to the whole thing.
Okay.
I feel a lot of indifference towards this. Like, I don't know who the number 1 wide receiver. It might be David Njoku. I think he might be the best guy on the Browns. Not sure. All right. So with that being said, what's interesting for me, Nick Chubb got all of the carries last week. All of them. Not all the snaps, all of the carries. With D'Ernest Johnson and Demetric Felton mixing in for some turdly, split of the pass catching snaps, which is a gross split that makes me hate both of them. Interestingly, Demetric Felton was also used, and again, this was a unique situation last week, Bobbywow. Felton was used as a wide receiver in that game. Just I had no one to throw to. They had Felton playing like a wide receiver role.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get that here. Yeah, there it is. Andrew saw. Yeah, he was playing like a wide receiver role. So, but primarily the guy who mixed in at running back was D'Ernest Johnson, but no carries, only pass blocking duties and pass catching duties, which was bizarre for me a little bit. Well, agnostic.
It's so funny. Yes.
Yes. So I think we go right back to the standard crew for Cleveland with Peoples-Jones, Landry, and Rashard Higgins pretty much getting all of the snaps at wide receiver. Of that group, I think Jarvis Landry, they mix them in. They're all turds. Mix them and cook them in a pot like turd bow.
I like Landry a little more than you, Geek, but I agree. He's not a standout stud, but I do like him more than you.
I will allow Landry to populate lineups as Jesus on Christmas above all other days. You have to sometimes throw your head back, accept that, let Jesus take the wheel, and make those decisions for you.
It's one of my favorite things you say, and I agree.
Gotta let Jesus take the wheel. In my household, my wife acts as Jesus. She basically makes all the decisions. And I accept it. Okay. Whatever you want. You decide. Except for DoorDash orders. That's my domain. My wife cannot choose a DoorDash restaurant to save any. I'm like, babe, you've got 3 hours until dinner. Here's the app. Take a look. 3 hours later, I was like, where do you want to order? I don't know. How about this place? I don't know. I got to take the wheel on those. But for the rest of decision making, on Christmas Day, we let Jesus take the wheel. And that's really what I'll do with like a Landry and Peoples-Jones. I want to mix them in, a couple percentage points of all of them. They're not who I'm building my lineups around, that's for sure. It doesn't get easier at tight end. David Njoku last week had the whole backfield to himself. Check out that beautiful 100% of the snaps, 100% of the snap count. But we go back to the 70-40 split. Hooper and Njoku, anybody's live for a touchdown. Mix them in the turd zone. We'll get a few of each. You can't rely on any of this. We'll go through position by position group after we kind of talk about these games. How this game is most likely to play out, I think Cleveland will try to run the football and play defense. And both of these teams, Bobbywow, want to play a slow game.
Yes.
It does not generally bode well for fantasy production when both teams are angling to slow the game down and burn the clock. Josiah, I hope Josiah heard the song, because I thought you were here when I sang it. And I was really thinking about you when I sang it. I was. So, anyway. Both of these teams, and this is more just functionally, Bobbywow, they want to slow the game down. Aaron Rodgers, do you ever watch a Packers game? When he snaps the ball, it's at 1 second.
Yeah.
Every time. I don't think he's doing it to slow the game down. He wants to read the defense. That's just the style that Aaron Rodgers plays. He really wants to read what's going on, and he takes his time. And Cleveland just wants to run the football. Slow, smash, Chubb, first down, Landry, Chubb, first down. So this is a game where both teams want to shorten it. They want to make it end faster than usual, fewer plays. Let's see if we have the snap. Yeah, the 18th in snaps. Let's see here. 29th. They have almost the fewest snaps per game, Cleveland. And the Packers, for as good as their offense is, bottom half of the league. 57 and 58. It's fewer snaps per game compared to other teams. And that leads to lower. And as a contrast, Arizona 61. Look at this. 59-61. So you see that the Cardinals and Colts are faster teams, especially the Cardinals, and will generally have more snaps per game, elevated fantasy production relative to the Packers and the Browns. So let's talk let's talk the second. So both teams want to slow it down, though, with the Packers and the Browns. Cleveland going to focus the run. Packers basically just going to throw it to Devontae Adams a lot. Try to win like that. All right. Colts, Cardinals. Cardinals at home. Coming off a couple losses. I do think this is a bounce back game for Arizona. And I want to say that, on the Wise Guys show with Gargano, we definitely picked the Cardinals to cover their -1 point spread. We like the Cardinals here. And if you agree with that, then you have to assume that the Cardinals do a decent job slowing down Jonathan Taylor for whatever that's worth. Do we know about James Conner? Like, Bobby, do you have a lean one way or the other? I mean, it's hard to lean at this point, but do we think Conner is going to play? He says he's going to try to play.
I feel like he's questionable every week, so I would be surprised if he didn't play. personally. I think we'll see both Connor and Edmonds. What's interesting to me is just how little they played last week. I mean, look at those snap counts, under 50% for both.
I don't even know who got the snaps at running back last week, to be honest. Like, somebody else did. But there are some interesting twists here that we can glean from last week's game, especially Mr. Antoine Wesley, the emergence of like a mystery wide receiver on the Cardinals that we're going to have to pay attention to. There you go. Colts missing some offensive linemen. Again, if you need another knock on the Colts in general or on Jonathan Taylor's prospects here, there you have it. Right? That's a reasonable knock on them. So Kyler Murray's back. He's healthy. He's running around. He rushed quite a bit last week, considering that I wasn't expecting that. Because usually when these rushing quarterbacks come back off of an injury, especially like a leg injury, they tend to not run the football very much. But here they are. They're doing that. Kyler Murray going to be one of the top plays on the slate. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Yep. The question is, can we play James Conner? I don't love James Conner with Chase Edmonds back and in full force. I think it's really interesting to see Chase Edmonds priced down much, much cheaper than James Conner. I think Chase Edmonds is a good play, better play than James Conner. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I don't love James Conner as it is. The Colts run defense is pretty good. And it looks like the Cardinals just aren't as committed to the run as they were when Kyler was out, which makes sense. So I'm with you. I don't know that I like either of these guys, but on DraftKings, if I'm picking one, it's Edmonds as well.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. We're going to have to pick running backs. We're not going to get away with not using these guys. We got to pick them.
Totally.
We're going to be forced to choose. So we'll see the ownerships in a minute and it'll go through it. But, Arizona, I think that, we know that Christian Kirk steps up without DeAndre Hopkins. It's been that way. AJ Green, a touchdown guy, lots of targets. I think the interesting emergence last week was Rondale Moore still playing the exact same role he's played all year. We're not seeing elevated role and opportunity for Rondale Moore. He's still an explosive player. He's still the kind of guy you want to get some exposure to. But, you have to keep in mind that they're just not using him in a workhorse role or in a voluminous role at all. And then the big emergence was Antoine Wesley coming in out of nowhere. Who's Antoine Wesley? 21% of the targets last week, and nothing's changed. I expect the same. $3K, min salary. Why wouldn't it be exactly the same, Bobbywow?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It probably will be, but his ownership is going to be pretty high as well. So I don't know, man. I don't know how
high the ownership. It depends on how the salaries work out. We'll make some lineups in a minute and we'll see. But Antoine Wesley, yeah, he's the fourth wide receiver and he's getting targets. Catch me outside. That's how it is. Zach Ertz, full boat workload at tight end. 30% targets last week. I think he'll be the most popular tight end on the slate by quite a large margin.
Yeah, he's a Dallas Goedert of this slate.
Yeah. He's every lineup you start out, you're kind of like, is it an Ertz lineup or should I play one of these other turds? No offense, Josiah. Forgot Josiah was here. So that's Arizona, and the Colts are, the Colts are a team that runs through Jonathan Taylor, but we've had a lot of luck on especially these short slates messing with names like Nyheim Hines, who can just pop off for 12, 14 fantasy points, and it's enough. You got to get exposure to Hines on every slate like this, on a short slate. He's not a guy I play in main slates, but on a short slate, that's a guy that you're going to get some exposure to. I think your first question when you start every lineup, or your first or second question after you answer the Devontae ad, like there's three questions. Like I said, there's some super chalk here. Devontae Adams, Jonathan Taylor, and probably Zach Ertz. Like it's that trio that you're like, all right,
yep.
Which of these three am I playing or not going to play? That's it. Jonathan Taylor's in the mix. Nyheim Hines, I don't mind with Jonathan Taylor in the same lineup. Those are some things you can do to get unique. Don't worry about pairing them, things like that. Now, if you want to fade Jonathan Taylor, then even more so interested in Nyheim Hines. Like in a non-Jonathan Taylor lineup, you almost have to have Nyheim Hines in that lineup. Like if I'm handcrafting and it doesn't have Jonathan Taylor, I'm almost certainly going to have Nyheim Hines in it. And what if Jonathan Taylor gets hurt? Oh my goodness. Nyheim Hines goes crazy. At wide receiver, it's been Pittman pretty much as the man, with everybody else kind of turdly. Zach Pascal running with more of a possession role. T.Y. Hilton, one of the least reliable at this point in his career wide receivers you're ever going to see. Only 26% of the snaps. They're going down. In his place, they're bringing in Ashton Dulin, who actually has been fine. And by the way, I talked up Ashton Dulin last week and didn't go well. He's a good player.
I like Doolin too here. I really do. I think he's one of these super low owned, MME shots that you can take to get unique. So I definitely don't mind using him in some of your lineups.
Yeah. And then of course, to make matters difficult as the Colts like to do, both Jack Doyle and Mo Alley Cox are getting, massive workloads at tight end and very low snap counts. And Carlos is very forgiving. They did throw there was a couple of opportunities for Dulin to have a big game. There and it could happen again. He's a good player, actually. He's a guy that should have been drafted, and there's some background on him. He's got some talent. All right, so let's look at the slate on a macro level now, position by position. And we'll use the ownership sort as our guide, right? So at quarterback, you've got Rodgers, Murray, Wentz, and Mayfield in that order, both in terms of their raw project. Actually, it's interesting. Kyler Murray's raw projected a little bit higher than Rodgers, but he's going to be a little lower owned. And I do think, all right, so I'm going to throw it to you before I say mine. Bobbywow, looking at the group of quarterbacks, which one is your first go-to guy? Like, which one are you favoring the most?
It's Kyler for me, and it's not all that close.
Okay. I was going to say that as well. I like Kyler a little bit more than Rodgers, primarily because Rodgers has a couple of recent really good games, but they're playing Cleveland. And Cleveland is not a team where people who've opposed them have put up big numbers. There's a reason why the DVP number here is 9. The game is less good. And why is Aaron Rodgers higher owned? It doesn't make sense. Is that your reasoning? I mean, what's your reasoning for it?
That's part of my reasoning. I also hate Aaron Rodgers. But that said, the Browns do slow the game down quite a bit. And that's not to say Rodgers can't get there. But in a game where the clock's moving, the Packers run one touchdown in, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, Rodgers he's got to get moving. He's got to throw a couple touchdowns. So part of it is I think I'm going to be a little bit higher on Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. And so I'm already assuming they're going to score some rushing touchdowns. I know they could pass to Jones, but that's also factors into my reasoning. So that's where I'm at. Slower game, doesn't have the rushing upside of Kyler, and he's higher owned.
I'm just going to quickly make rules for some of these as we're talking. If I'm playing Aaron Rodgers, I'm playing him with 2 of his pass catchers. I think I want to include.
If you're doing 2, you have to include running back.
Aaron Jones. Yeah, I think I'm going to include Aaron Jones. So we're going to go include the running back. And by the way, if I didn't want to include Dillon, I can type out the names. So let me just show a little trick on Deezus here. I can just type out the names. I don't want to do that here because players come out of nowhere. But if I use player, I could just say, I could say Adams. I could say at least 2 of Jones, but then I have to write out Josiah, Degura, Lazard, guess who the number 3 wide receivers. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to use the cheat code.
Could you also do exactly 0 AJ Dillon and then do?
Yes. Good fucking genius, man. That's why Bobbywow wins millions. It's you got you're thinking, you're playing checkers. You're playing chess. I'm over here trying to play checkers. It's like a whole different world. Yeah, you're right. You could do stack RB Dillon with exactly 0 QB, same team. Okay, other tip for Dom Station, and this is a really important one. Make sure you are allowing players versus your defense. Really critical to do. But yeah, for me, Aaron Rodgers is with 2. All of these guys are going to be with 2. Even Kyler Murray, I think I got to do with 2 just because it's a 2-game slate. But you don't like Kyler Murray with 2.
I just worry about the with 2. That's all. Because if they run a touchdown in, then it starts getting hairy. They don't have to score 30 points on the slate to be the top scoring QB. You run one in, you throw one in, and maybe you don't pull 2 guys with you. That's the only concern I have.
There's some argument. But that being said, Kyler Murray to me is the best play on the slate. And, I would say to people, Bobbywow, that if you're going to run like a 20 entry on DraftKings, there is some merit to choosing one quarterback and going all in on it.
Yeah.
You're not going to there's merit to just choose one guy and roll with it. And if you're wrong, fine by me. Because it's going to be really hard to win a 20 entry contest period, but it's hard to win any contest. But it's even harder if you're trying to spread yourself really thin. I would choose one. And if it doesn't have to be the highest owned guy, man, fuck it. Choose Carson Wentz and go all in and go crazy on Baker Mayfield try to win $1 million, but accept that you're going to lose all your money if it didn't work. But choose one. Kyler Murray, who's my favorite. Aaron Rodgers would be number 2. And Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, I think, is maybe intriguing in just the sense of imagine like Murray and Rodgers just have a dud. What's the scenario where they have a dud? Their running backs score a lot?
Yeah, slow, grinded out game. Or the running backs dominate. Yeah, Carson Wentz, man, it's tough. Ugh. If I'm thinking of the right guy, he was absolutely terrible last game. He ended up with a touchdown, but he threw for 57 yards.
He was really bad. There's no doubt. And the Cardinals are very good against the pass. It's not a good matchup at all. And like I said, I might go a different route and just not play Wentz or Baker Mayfield. I may just go really heavy on Kyler Murray and just say, you know what, Kyler Murray, if he's doing his thing, I expect him to win. I already am betting on the Cardinals in this game, so I might as well just go all in on that approach. Baker is definitely playing, and Browns are getting a lot of guys back. But we've seen some of these guys are getting actual COVID, by the way. They're not just having these close contacts. They're coming off, like we saw last week, Darrell Henderson. He was not in shape to play the full game. They brought in Sony Michel, let him play a lot. We're seeing a little bit of that. Oh my God, Sunsu. I'm not even gonna justify your comments by putting them on screen.
Don't do it.
I'm not doing it. All right. So let's take a look at the running back position. And of course, atop the list is Jonathan Taylor. But what surprised me is that Nick Chubb is not like second. It's Aaron Jones. So people going right back to Aaron Jones. You got A.J. Dillon at high ownership here. Not cheap, Dillon, but A.J. Dillon high ownership. Chase Edmonds and Nyheim Hines really low down the list. And those two are the ones that I'm probably most interested in getting leverage on myself.
Yep.
Yeah, Stadium Property. He does not like, loading up on Kyler. But I got to tell you, I'm not betting against Aaron Rodgers. I'm betting against a game environment that looks like lower scoring. Especially if Connor's a little bit dinged up and Murray gets a piece of those touchdowns. Murray's just his outlook is going to be elevated. The more banged up Connor is, the better it is for the Murray play. But Bobby, wow, I think down here is where you get your leverage. These two guys. Yeah,
seeing those guys that low at that low ownership, I love it because they don't have to. Guys, they don't have to smash. The other guys don't even have to get hurt for them to be optimal. A couple catches, a touchdown, which Nyheim Hines seems to do every other week at this point. That's enough.
Tattoo. Yes, that does count as 2, by the way. Edmonds is most definitely a pass catcher that will count with Murray. And now we have to add in, of course, Wesley or whoever that extra guy was. I can't remember. Antoine Wesley as part of the mix here. Right? Was that the guy? Yeah. So that definitely counts as 2. I mean, these kind of questions, Dan, like I prefer Kirk. But like it's a 2-game slate, you know, if Green catches a touchdown, he's going to be the guy, you know, but I prefer Kirk a little bit. Edmonds over Ertz. I don't know where to go with that. Ertz is going to be higher owned. There's no leverage with Ertz. Like Edmonds is a leverage play because you're getting Edmonds at 25%. Ertz should be like 50% owned on the slate. Let's see what. Yeah, he's 41. You know, Ertz is the chalk, so it's like fade the chalk. I unfriend you. The whole deal. Man, Connor can catch passes too. I think probably does count. Do you think Connor counts as a pass catcher? That dude's probably a better pass catcher than Chase Edmonds, by the way. We learned.
Yeah, he can catch passes. I wouldn't keep him out of that list.
It's definitely filet mignon, bro. Come on. This is a question. It's definitely filet. Easy. I like ribeye too. But no, filet's the winner. Would you pair Mayfield with running backs? Absolutely not. I don't think I'm playing Mayfield. But if I do, it's definitely not. If I do play Mayfield in a lineup, Nick Chubb, I promise you, will not be in that lineup. Nick Chubb does not go with Mayfield. If Nick Chubb is smashing the slate, Mayfield is not. Period. There's not a scenario where both of those go off together. So definitely not. All right, where were we? We're talking running backs. So Bobbywow, Jonathan Taylor, I mean, you're going to want to start every lineup with him. 70% owned. Cardinals pretty good against the run. 10th in DVP against the position. Taylor doesn't need much to get there, and he's so fucking good. Can you fade this guy? I think no.
We need to see how salaries work out when we build lineups, but my gut is no as well. It's going to be tough. Unless you have to pick between him and Davante Adams, in which case I would say, yes, you absolutely can go underweight on him.
I'm definitely favoring Davante Adams.
Yes.
In that scenario. You know, Hofbrau, my boy who keeps winning these 2-game slates, he did it. You know, he's doing it by kind of like getting weird with the running backs a little bit as well. Like you'll see him have a lineup where it's like Edmonds and Nyheim Hines, and that's it.
And it's even crazier on FanDuel. Jonathan Taylor's 10,500 on FanDuel.
Yeah, a little more fadeable there. By the way, one of you guys asked about FanDuel ownerships. Not sure why they haven't showed up in the DOM yet, but I put a message out to figure out what's going on there. We projected it for everything, but it didn't pop in, so we're looking at it. Could be there now if I flip over to it. But we're using DraftKings mainly because the FanDuel ones didn't pop in yet, didn't populate. So that's your running back position. Yeah, any favorites? I mean, it's like, yeah, you're going to either play, I think you're, number one for me, I'm not playing 3 running backs as a locked in thing at all on any site. I think you don't do that on a 2-game slate. Yeah, I think most of your lineups, I think Jonathan Taylor and probably Nick Chubb are the 2 like blue chips. And the minute you get into any of Aaron Jones, Dillon, Connor, Edmonds, or Hines, you're kind of getting into unique or different zone.
Yeah, I think for me, the easiest to fade if I'm taking a stand, James Conner, AJ Dillon at that ownership, I think is an easy fade, you know, just because Aaron Jones has the rushing and pass catching upside. And then I'll have, you know, more exposure with the others, but Dillon and Conner to me stand out as the least exciting in my eyes.
Dillon, yeah, it's like I really want everything to do with this Colts Cardinals game, but you know, yeah, Connor with the Q tag doesn't make it look better. He has not practiced either. Are Jones and Dillon okay together in a lineup?
Yeah.
Anything's okay.
I would not play those 2 and Aaron Rodgers. I would say 2 at most of those 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that as well. If you're going to play those two running backs, Aaron Rodgers is not going up. So you make a rule here just to show you how to make that rule. You could do between 0 and 2 of Rodgers. Like this won't come up very often, but you make the rule 0 and 2 of Rodgers, Dillon, Jones. So this will make sure you never get all three of these guys. I got to do all lineups. So this will make sure that you never get all three of these in a lineup together. Cardinals are good against the run. And yeah, Antoine's saying you could fit them very easily, which is true. So like I said, you could kind of do whatever you want. We'll make a lineup in a minute as we finish going through these position groups. Wide receiver, obviously Devontae Adams is the top guy. And I personally allow my QB choice to dictate a lot of my wide receiver options. I'm going to be choosing a lot of Kyler Murray, which means for me, I'll get a lot of like Christian Kirk, Antoine Wesley, AJ Green, and, you know, Zach Ertz. This kind of actually makes me only want to stack him with one, because thinking about getting like 100 lineups with two of these guys is definitely a little sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean now. But, you know, Christian Kirk, Wesley, Green, Rondell Moore, and Ertz, basically. And I have two of those.
And real quick, Geek, before I forget, to go back to the Cardinals against the run piece, the Cardinals have only allowed 5 touchdowns all season on the ground to running backs, 0 receiving touchdowns to running backs. So they are very good at keeping running backs out of the end zone for what it's worth.
Can you imagine just fading Jonathan Taylor and being right?
Oh, man, that'd be glorious. That'd be the best Christmas present of all.
Kids, gather around. Daddy's got new Christmas presents for you coming. Christmas night presents. Pascal or Dolan? I mean, can you play like Antoine Wesley instead? He's better than both of them. Play Antoine Wesley.
It's like asking beets or turnips.
Yeah, play Wesley. What are you doing with those two turds? Okay, so wide receiver. Michael Pittman, second most popular. Christian Kirk, obvious. I love Allen Lazard with MBS out. I'm going to go over the field on Allen Lazard here. Jarvis Landry, you know, fine at his price point as well. Usually get some volume. I think these numbers are not too far off. Like when you get these ownership projections, they're pretty close to like where you want to be. Maybe Juwanna Winfrey. A little more than that if he's going to be the WR3. Aquanamios. I think it looks like, okay, so it looks like there's some confusion, Bobbywow, between Equanimous St. Brown and Juwan as far as who the WR3 is. So if we get some clarity, some even more clarity here, I'd want to go higher on Juwan Winfrey. I'm assuming that he's the guy.
And again, to go back to the rules too, Geek, I'd say no more than one of those. So either Equanimous or Juwan in your lineup. So I would not play both.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting both anyway.
Probably not. That's true.
They're not going to both show up. Of course, yeah. I mean, come on. By the way, it doesn't take a Taylor at Buffalo game. All it takes is like a touchdown, and your fate is dead.
Does that Rondale Moore ownership seem like crazy low to you?
10%? No.
Really?
No.
With his ceiling, I mean, that feels that he's priced. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you're going to play him over Donovan Peoples-Jones, for example?
I might.
I would play him above T.Y. Hilton for the same price.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Just caught my eye. That's all.
I think what the way this is working out is that salary doesn't matter that much. So again, tight end, we said it's Zach Ertz or bust, and that's just how it plays out. Zach Ertz, 50%. Then you got Josiah Deguara, Doyle, Cox. Any one of these clowns can get you a touchdown. Any one of them can have a good game. But okay, so FanDuel not yet. Yeah, you know what? It's Christmas. It's Christmas Eve too. You know, some of our staff aren't like in their normal. I mean, can you believe Bobbywow is here? You know, I'm always here, but Bobbywow being here, I was like, holy shit, let's do this. Let's do this whenever you want. You heard, what did I tell you, Bobby? I was like, anytime you want.
Whenever you're ready.
Tell me whenever you want. I'll be there. I got a Christmas present in here. I should show it to you. I got a new crypto miner that just showed up in the mail. Hang on, let me show it.
You and your puppy coin.
I got the puppy coin. Now I've got a Match X. Okay, I don't even know what the fuck this is. All I know is I paid $3,000 for it.
Jesus.
Better take the wheel with that thing and make me my money back here, because I don't even know what I bought. I just buy everything at this point. I bought some puppy coins.
Geek is not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice.
Definitely not financial advice. I just gamble on everything. It's a sickness. I won my bet last night. I won my bet last night on the on the Thursday game, of course. Kept my sweeps going. We bet the Titans. We bet the Titans money line on the Wise Guy show. Easy money. Oh, Rondale is game time decision? That'd be interesting if he doesn't play. Imagine it's Andy Isabella for the long touchdown. Mark this. What time is it in the thing? 51 minutes. Rondale Moore out. Andy Isabella plays the WR4 spot. One pass, 50 yards, touchdown in the nuts. 51 minutes, 20 seconds in. Let's write that down. If that doesn't work out, never reference that again, please.
Wipe it from the record.
Yeah, wipe it from the record. Let it be deleted. So here we go. I mean, and that's basically it. So it's Ertz, and then I'm just playing I'm playing these guys a little bit each and hope that you get the right guy. I probably will go market exposure on Ertz 50%. I might go higher if like a Rondale Moore is out.
Yeah,
I don't want to go too high. Ertz can give you a 5. Like you get a 5 from Ertz.
You could. It's the same thing as Goddard though, right? Because you gotta honestly take a look at the tight ends below him and say, do any of these guys, what are the chances one of these guys outscores Zach Ertz? You have to play a tight end. You have to play one. What are the chances one of them outscores him? I think you could eliminate half the list right away just answering that question. Listen, Tattoo. Man, I hope all is well for you, my man. We appreciate you, my brother. All right, so let's make a lineup. You ready? Throw the studs in first. Let's get the studs in there first and see what we got left. Let's go with our got to make these decisions, right? So you might as well just start it off with that, right? And that's it. So you start your lineup just like this. You got 4,200 left. Let's talk defense for a second. I got to click it on my proper screen, not on the StreamYard screen. I'm clicking. It doesn't work. Okay. Defense. Got to be the Packers. They're the most expensive. I don't mind the Cardinals. I mean, I guess you go with the Packers here, right? Because it's Cleveland. Yeah, double tight end definitely works. And you could leave lots of salary on the table, Adam. There's no rules here. I think actually, when you see what actually wins the nuts in these, the chances of it spending the entire salary are so slim. It's also hard to spend the full salary. It is. All right. So Kareem Hunt out. I think if I had to go chalk, it's Nick Chubb. Okay. It's a Kyler Murray lineup, so you kind of want to get like a Christian Kirk in there. Now already we've gone below the salary levels, so we're going to now accept that we can't play Nick Chubb. All right, you got to change. You got to adjust. So how about Chase Edmonds in that spot? Okay, that's working. Now we need. I think I know how we want to go with this. Lazard, and then you finish it out with whoever the fuck you want. Juwan Winfrey, the 3K guy, Wesley. Juwan Winfrey. I like Wesley better than Winfrey. Yep. Any other names here? We could play any of the tight ends. Hooper's not bad. Pascal. This is it. This is how you make a lineup this week. Yep. I mean, it's pretty simple. Yep, it is. Am I missing something here, Bobbywow? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. That's I like it.
And then, it becomes a game of, hey, let's choose the best turd tight end 2. Would you rather have a tight end 2 here, or like a Winfrey type, or like a Wesley guy? I think I'm going to play Wesley because it's a Murray lineup.
I don't have much faith in any of the other tight ends. So, yeah, I like Wesley the best, I think.
The only thing I feel like is missing from this lineup that I would want to have in here is Pittman.
Yeah.
What's his price? Let's see if we could fit Pittman in there. Pittman's $5K. You can get Pittman instead of Lazard.
Almost. Oh, you can.
You got to dump these guys and just like do something.
Like a different defense.
I don't care about the defense, by the way. It literally doesn't matter who you choose. You can just go like whatever. Cardinals. I don't care. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Cardinals, 2 Colts, 1 Packer. Yeah, it's a lot of Cardinals. But the flip side is you wrap up the entire. Wouldn't it be fun if you played all these Cardinals and then just Murray just rushed for 3 touchdowns? It's danger.
It's not funny if you're playing 2 pass catchers.
Yeah. Maybe I can't. I know you're always right. So I'm gonna not do it.
Not true. The last two gamers have had 2 pass catchers, so that's not true. You're right.
Yeah, it's tough to play just one because you're gonna get so many 2s anyway. Boom. I'm putting it in Millie Maker.
I like playing devil's advocate with you a little bit, Geek.
No, it's fine. I want to know what you're really gonna do, and yeah. I don't think I'm right about these things. Like, what the fuck do I know? I'm just making lineups here, just trying to, I'm just an island boy, just trying to make it.
Unrelated news: Nick Foles is starting for the Bears. Justin
Get
Fields
out of here.
out.
No, it's not. I don't believe you. Is this for real?
Oh, yeah.
Is this for real?
Yes.
Why?
He's hurt. I don't know.
I've got Justin Fields starting on my freaking playoff teams over here. Wait, this is big news. That's
worst
real?
Christmas ever. That's real, man.
That's interesting. That's for the Sunday slate. All right, let me.
Anyway,
I got
okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Whoa, that's big news. Okay, that's really good for David Montgomery. By the way, the best possible news for Montgomery. Maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, just make another lineup. So I like making lineups, and then we'll do some FanDuel. So let's say we make another Kyler Murray lineup. That last one, did we play with Pittman? How about let's make an Aaron Rodgers lineup. I really like Kyler Murray. It's going to be hard to pull the trigger for me for anybody but Kyler. But if we make an Aaron Rodgers lineup, we do know that you want Aaron, you want Adams, and for me, Lazard is in the lineup. It's this right here. 1, 2, 3. Play Taylor. Now what? How about Nyheim Hines?
Yeah, get Hines in there.
Little salary savings.
If you go Hines, do you go Chubb as the higher price running back? Or do you want to be unique here with both?
I think if you're playing Rodgers, you probably do want to play Chubb. Problem is we're running out of salary real quick. Put Cardinals defense in there.
Landry was my guy to have in there.
We gotta make sure we're gonna be able to afford it, which means you cannot use Zach Ertz. Actually, let's see here. Yeah, you can. All right, so you're playing Landry, right? 3,200 left. You're not gonna be able to play Zach Ertz. We're gonna have to play another 3K. All right, so let's say we play Hooper, even Degura.
Yeah, or you take Chubb out and put Hines in like you had originally.
I think if Aaron Rodgers is doing his thing, Chubb is probably scoring touchdowns. If Aaron Rodgers is there doing enough to win this tournament, there's a really good chance that the Browns are just in it, which means Chubb is scoring touchdowns. So I think you leave it this way.
Okay.
You use now Degura might be one too many Packers actually. So let's say we went with a tight end like an Njoku or a Hooper. Can't do Hooper, 2,800. Hooper can only mix actually with Degura. So what if we went like, oh, it's so gross. The problem is
Doyle.
Doyle sucks. He fucking sucks. I hate Doyle. I'd rather play Mo Alley Cox than Doyle.
So get some Big Mo.
I really would rather play Mo Alley Cox than that motherfucker. Yeah, like give me Mo Alley Cox for 2,500 min salary. We almost got to another good spot here. Not quite. It's like a Hooper. You want to do that?
Yeah. I don't hate it.
Personally, I like the Kyler Murray version better. What can we do, Bobbywow? Now that we've made a couple lineups, what can we do to be unique and different and unusual on this slate? Is it just like make a lineup without Jonathan Taylor or without Devontae Adams? What can we do to be unique or different here?
Yeah, I think that's one way to do it. I mean, I think if you had lineups with both Edmonds and Hines, that's a way to get super, super unique. And I think it's a viable strategy.
Yeah, by the way, this to answer this question, don't make that rule. Don't make that rule. Anything can happen. I don't think it's a rule you want to make. The one rule I do like is Bobby's version of, listen, if I'm playing Jones and Dillon, I don't need Aaron Rodgers in that lineup. Yeah, it is going to be a very Merry Christmas, money-making Christmas. It's the best kind of Christmas. We give a lot of gifts, we spend a lot of money, then we win it back. You should have seen the scene in my family, in my house last night, Bobbywow. I gathered the kids around after the game yesterday. It was a beautiful football night. Titans covered and actually won the money line, which was very special. And I gathered the kids around and said to the kids, I said, kids, Daddy took a very, very risky move last night. And I took your present money and I rolled it onto the Titans +3, +3.5. The Grinch almost came and stole your Christmas. But instead, a miracle happened. Tannehill, an A.J. Brown miracle happened. He woke up in the second half and led us to victory. And now everybody's getting a little something this year.
And Jimmy G. Grinch, his heart grew because he threw those interceptions. He realized what he was about to do to your family.
I saw it. First of all, Jimmy G, and this is how I know that Jesus had something to do with this, because Jimmy G never throws an interception and the red zone. It's been years. It goes back to like 2018 that he threw an end zone interception.
Partially, they don't let him throw by the end zone, but yeah, it has.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, they usually do right. Maybe they know better, but yeah, here we were, and I was like, Jimmy G, by the way, I'm sorry, that guy does not look that good as an NFL player.
He's overrated, Geek.
He is very overrated. I still can't forget the Jeff Wilson miss wide open. Everybody can hit that pass.
And then last night, the use check miss.
Yeah, I mean, Luke said it. Luke knew it. The dude misses open passes. You can't trust him. Luke knows what's up. Yeah, dude, get Lance in there. So, all right, let's make a FanDuel lineup here. Let's see what the salaries look like on FanDuel. And I want to mention on FanDuel, kudos, because FanDuel is giving us some really cool contests. So you got the naughty snap. You guys know who you are. There's the nice snap, a little cheaper one, $2. You guys know who you are. But FanDuel is making us I just want to point out, and this is DraftKings, if you're watching, and maybe they are. I don't know. It's Christmas, nothing else going on. I mean, I got to play a fucking $25 entry contest if I want to get in on this 2-gamer. Do they not understand that this prices people out? Like $25 per entry By the time I max it out with 150, and I enjoy playing 150, I'm out. Like, I really got to fucking take the kids' college fund out at that point. Like, it's not even the Christmas fund. It's 2,500 plus another 12.
Almost 4K.
It's almost $4,000 to play this stupid contest. By the way, if you miss, if I want to have balls on a $4,000, I'm going all in on Kyler Murray, right? And Murray just doesn't work out. 4K down the drain. It's a lot of money to put up for one of, listen, we're playing in tournaments every single day. At some point, 4,000, 4,000, it's a lot. They should give an option for a $5 contest.
Yeah, I think my rule, Geek, is if the entrance fees change the way you build your lineups, kind of like what you just said. If I look at that and say I can't get ballsy here and take some stands, it's too high of an entry fee.
That is some of the most sage advice that you can ever give. And I'm openly admitting, like if I'm in a $25 contest, I mostly just want to play the ownership projections to make sure that I come out with something. And that's not why do it? And especially in a $2.5 million, 1 million to first. So all of the money is going to first place.
It's too high. I can't build lineups and not adjust my process because it's 4K. It's impossible. Yeah. It's too much. It's too expensive. Stupid.
And I get that they can fill it, but FanDuel, like, dude, what the fuck? Make a $5 contest also. And don't make it see what FanDuel does is they sabotage. They put up a $5 contest, but they sabotage it because it's only got 5,000 entries. And you're like, dude, I can't max 150 on a 5,000 entry contest either. That's just as bad.
Right.
It needs to have like 15,000 entries to be viable for 150 lineups. And so I'm just saying, like, fix up your shit, because now I'm going to play it on FanDuel. Play the Santa special. So let's take a look at salaries over here. FanDuel did a little different. So they obviously priced up Kyler Murray as the most expensive. Baker Mayfield is cheap enough to make it viable to pay down to him. But let's start a lineup off kind of like what we said. All right, let's go with Devontae. Let's go with, and now you got Ertz. And of course, now we got a real decision to make. At least FanDuel gave us a real decision to make on Taylor. DraftKings basically is like, yeah, you got to play Taylor. FanDuel makes you, so how much we have left? 52.40. Dude, we ran a salary really quick here, right? I'm not sure that this can be made to work. One thing I will say, though, is whenever you're on a 2-game slate and there's this big of a discrepancy on defense, there's a lot of merit to just playing the cheapest one.
Yep.
What if all the defenses all score 6 or 7 points? The winner is going to be whoever uses this one, even if it only scores 3. So, unless you think the Packers are going to put up like 15, you don't need to play them. Cardinals might be good, and Colts might be fine, but this is the way to go. I think we can actually make this work anyway. Let's see. 7,600, 7,300. You get in the cheap zone here. 5,200. All right, so with Kyler, who are we playing? Christian Kirk, 7,200. AJ Green, 5,900. And you could probably get that Antoine Wesley for free. These kind of turds on FanDuel are much less necessary than they are on DraftKings. How are you playing this, Bobbywow?
They are. I mean, the wide receiver prices are higher here. So you will have to play. Will you have to play a turd?
I mean, like
no,
Lazard.
Let's play a turd.
No, I mean, Lazard, I think, is a good play. 5,200. Rondell Moore's down here. Pascal's down there. Everybody's cheap. AJ Green, 59, 6,400 for Mikey Pitter.
The difference on FanDuel is if you do decide to go brute force on some of these guys, if you say, I'm going to have all my lineups have a core of 4 guys or 5 guys, now you can rotate in some of these turds at a higher rate. And if one goes off, that's how you get unique.
But who am I locking in?
I mean, it seems pretty clear, right? Like Kyler, Taylor, Adams, and Ertz. That feels like the core. And I'm not going to lock them in necessarily. I'm just saying I would go heavy on those 4 guys, and then you can fill your lineup out and get different that way.
Yeah, I
That's
just
how
think
I'll approach it.
That's what the field is going to do. We're not getting any sort of like we got to think who the edge play is on this slate. And I think one of them is going to be Lazard for me.
Yeah, but you think he's going to be low owned? I don't think so.
I don't know.
It looks like FanDuel ownerships are up.
Let's take a look.
He's 35%.
Really? All right. So there you have it. Let's take a look. It's funny. I much prefer the slate. So, all right. So FanDuel, a little more agnostic in terms of the ownerships here. I know. It's getting old. Taylor only 60%. Jones 50%. Chubb up there. I'm surprised to see how much AJ Dillon is going to be rostered here.
Yeah, I think he's the easiest to fade for me. Could he score? Yeah, but geez Louise.
Once again, there's real evidence here that Nyheim Hines and Chase Edmonds are going to be good leverage plays. It's working across both sides. Wide receiver, Pittman, Kirk. Kirk is a little lower than I would have expected. I'm going to have to see Kirk for his price, and his outlook is really good. I actually like Kirk a lot. So that'll be the guy. Do you know if St. Brown didn't play last week? Because, again, we found that Juwan Jennings, we think, is going to be the WR3. Packers defense, almost 50%. Yeah, if it is, I'm very comfortable fading that being below. I already said, unless Packers defense puts up a monster number on the road against a running team, they're not going to pay off, especially the salary, paying the extra 1K. And FanDuel, in fairness to FanDuel, actually set up the slate so that you don't just have endless salary to fuck around with. Like this lineup, sure, you could just play it like that. Actually, Kyler with just Ertz Green. I actually kind of like this lineup playing it.
Yeah,
but you can play it just like that. Got to enter everything. But one thing DraftKings FanDuel didn't do, they didn't set up the slate so that you could just play whoever you want. So let's say we did I just feel like you can't play Taylor, Adams, and like a Chubb. There's no way to make it work. 2K. You need to save. You got to take out Pittman. Nope. Take out Ertz. 5K. So basically the only way to make that work is to take a turdly tight end like Josiah. It can work, but that's an Ertz fade, which is a comfortable fade for me. I don't have any problem, not playing Ertz. You put Wesley in here. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, it's going to be an interesting build. So if you play, there's no, the way FanDuel sets up, you can't play Taylor, Adams, Ertz, and for example, like Christian Kirk.
Right.
Or Chubb. Like that extra stud causes you to have to dump one. So you're going to be able to get to kind of 4 studs, whoever they are, and then build around it. Should be a fun build this week. I am not seeing like anywhere where I could be like, hey, remember how we faded Zeke Elliott that one slide? It was great. Like matchup-based fades. Are you seeing any matchup-based fades here?
I don't think so, man. I mean, not really. Not at this point, no. James Conner and AJ Dillon aren't even necessarily matchup-based, but those are the 2 guys that come to mind at 30+% ownership.
There it is. I think your biggest advantage, and this is something Hofbrau uses, and he's been smashing these 2 gamers, is once again, most of the field is not aware of this particular, and all optimizers, I think most of them have something like this, where it limits the number of players versus your defense. Obviously, with the domination station optimizer, the best optimizer, you just want to allow 4 players versus your defense on a 2-game slate. Don't fuck around with worrying about your defense. I think that's the biggest edge to the slate. That and how much balls you have to fade either Devontae or Jonathan Taylor.
Yep.
I think FanDuel made it a little bit easier to fade Taylor. Like if you want to go under on Taylor at 10.5, like, all right, let's just do a Taylor fade. Like the lineup just looks better if you don't play him. Now, instead of like this Garbaggio players, so if you faded Taylor, your assumption is that the Colts are throwing. Also, I would say that Arizona defense is doing well, so you kind of like might do an Arizona here. You're assuming that the Colts are throwing, so you want to get a Pittman in there, and then 6,300. So still get a Christian Kirk going, and then maybe a Zach Pascal or a T.Y. Hilton type player or something like that. But I still like Lazard so much more than, but it's hard to pull the trigger on Zach Pascal, if I'm being honest. But how about Hines?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I like that. Okay, so there we go.
No Taylor, yep.
Yeah, this is so a nice little no Taylor lineup. Oh, I kind of like that.
Looks
so
solid.
There we go. Guys, try not to put the exact same lineups in. There it is. Michael, there's more goodness to come. I'm glad. I hope your family enjoys that 12.5K. I hope they have wonderful presents this Christmas Eve. I hope you upgrade whatever you were planning a little bit. Get the wife something awesome so she lets you play more. The most important thing, let's do some good tidings at the end of this, Bobbywow. And here's my thing. And I'm going to do some life advice here. Let's get away from this. We've got a breakdown. It's good. Number one, life advice. Get signed up at DFS Army right now if you aren't, because we got code New Year going. 50% off your first month, your first week, whatever you sign up for. We don't do this all the time. Code New Year. It's on the bottom of the screen. I didn't mention it. But here's some good tidings for you. Number one, if you win, Michael Kaplinger, when you win a big prize, be aware that your wife, your husband, your spouse, whoever it is, your significant other, they put up with your shit all year. Fucking DFSing all the time. Staring at your phone, staring at the games, not paying attention, not being present because you're watching your lineups. And you know what? Oh, there it is. Yeah, it was the best Christmas ever. You get when you have a win, you don't just show them on the screen, you get them a little something so that they know. It's a little Pavlovian response. They know that when a big win happens, husband, father, whoever, spouse gets me gift, and an awesome gift. So make sure you buy your significant other something nice anytime you get a DFS win so that they'll tolerate you and that you play all the time like a fucking sicko. Am I wrong, Bobbywow?
You've never been more right.
Can you agree that they're all fucking sickos? We're all a bunch of sickos?
And that's the beautiful thing about it.
Yeah, at least we can hang out together doing this stuff. So yeah, I think let's wrap it up there. It's a fun slate, 2-gamer. Little notes for DFS Army subscribers. I'm going to be back tomorrow. So I'll be making my lineups for this today as much as possible. I don't think there's a lot of news that we're waiting on. And with the Dom station, once you get it set up, you run your lineups. Let's say we get news that Connor's out. I can quickly adjust. So my personal plan is I'm going to make lineups. I'm going to prep for this slate today. Get it all done, as much done as I can. Tomorrow, I want to shift my mental focus to the Sunday main slate. It's been very weird. Understand that we are creatures of habit. And when you start throwing Saturday slates at me and 2 gamers that I love more than main slates, you're really fucking with my motivation a little bit because I want to focus on that one thing. But I know I got to get it done and finished and then move on to main slate. There's so much main slate news that's happening. Even now during the show, fucking multiple players being ruled out with the vid. You don't even know. My boy Gabriel Davis, gone. He's out. Vid. I don't even know now. Isaiah McKenzie. So we got a lot of weird shit going on for the main slate tomorrow. We're going to have to focus in on it. I actually finished my sheet for the week like on Wednesday because I thought I had the COVID. You know what happened to me, Bobbywow? Because my kid got COVID. I thought I was going to have it. And I'm like, oh shit. If I get it, I'm going to lose all my energy. I'm going to lose my motivation. I'm just going to be laying here. I might not be able to do my stuff. So I did my sheets way earlier in the week than I ever have done. Now I got to go change the whole fucking thing. That's always crazy. But, that's the game. So we'll add in, we'll adjust for all these things. But we'll do a Players Club tomorrow fairly early. I don't want it going anywhere near start time. So probably be like an 11:30 Players Club. We'll break it all down for the main slate. I love the 2-gamer. I'm super excited to watch tomorrow. Bobby, any final thoughts?
No, I think we pretty much hit everything. Don't be afraid. In fact, make sure you're making stands. I think that's the key thing on these 2-gamers. Make some big stands.
Oh, I will give a little final thought on that note. If you wanted to see an experiment in ownership leverage and the power of it, and it's on that note that you just said, 2-game slates are the perfect example. And I would encourage everybody that has DFS Army access, if you're DFS Army subscriber and you have the domination station, to go back and back test previous 2-game slates and look at what fading the chalkiest player might have done. Do it multiple times. Like, hey, what if I just go into these slates and like I find whoever's the chalkiest and I just fade it? And then the chalkiest quarterback. Do a few different approaches. It's not going to win every time. If you do it on the Cooper Kupp slate, you're going to lose because Cooper Kupp went bananas. But frequently, these guys who are the most highly owned, they do disappoint. And when you're right about that, that propels you into a tournament victory. If I had to fade one between Adams and Taylor, I think for me, I would fade Taylor over Adams. I don't know how you don't play Adams. It's like, even in his bad games, he does pretty well. Whereas Taylor is a running back against a good run defense. And there's a scenario where, Arizona gets out ahead and the Colts kind of just don't look that good.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Plus on FanDuel, they allow you to fade Jonathan Taylor because they priced him at 10.5K. So there is a scenario where Taylor scores 15, which is decent on FanDuel, but doesn't get in the nuts. It's not a great fade. It's not something I'm in love with, but I'm probably more comfortable than that, just fading Ertz because Ertz has a shit game. That could happen.
Yeah.
So a lot of different things, but these 2-gamers are they're like a test tube environment for what fading the chalk can do in terms of when you're right about it. And you'll see, you fade one chalk piece and you're right, and it's like, wow, you're in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 7th, 9th, and 11th place in the tournament. Will Nick Chubb be higher owned than Aaron Jones? I mean, it's 43, 42. Looks very similar. I think Chubb should be higher. I'd like Chubb more than Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones got a split. Nick Chubb's getting all the touches, especially on FanDuel where PPR is less critical.
Yeah.
But Aaron Jones is a touchdown guy. So whatever. He's got to split it. I think I'd rather have Nick Chubb, not to say one or the other, but I think I'd probably rather have Nick Chubb if it's me. All right. Reminder again, if you're not signed up at DFS Army right now, get signed up. We got a lot of these 2-gamers, a lot of these things, most of these breakdowns happen behind our paywall. You want in on it. There's a ton of them. We're doing a ton of coverage. And of course, NBA, just look up in your NBA tournaments. If you're like, hey, what site should I subscribe to for NBA? Don't ask me. Go to an NBA tournament, FanDuel or DraftKings, go to the top 10 and look at the avatars. You'd be like, whoa, it's DFS Army, DFS Army, DFS Army. These motherfuckers. By the way, we're half the price of almost every other site. And not because we're worse. It's because, again, the mission is average Joes into DFS pros. It's that simple. I'm not going to price it up to get my average guys out of it. I want average Joes in DFS Army. There are a lot of actually military. We got a lot of veterans in DFS Army. Average Joes, man. The best kind of Joes. So that's what we do. But we also care about our members. We know you. We get to know you. We hang out. We it's not like other groups. There's camaraderie here. We care about each other. And we have a community. It's really different than anything else that goes on in DFS. So go check it out. I got the special. It's New Year's. We want you guys to check it out. You don't want to do the New Year's thing. Do the free offer on the DFS Army page. Get signed up. And I'm always down for double tight end in these short slates because tight ends are touchdown scorers, and you will need the touchdowns, not to mention A tight end is, when you're talking about the 3K, 3,500 turd that you put in the flex, tight end is as likely as anybody else to smash that. And by the way, double tight end absolutely did work last week. So make sure that you do use some double tight end. Am I doing no, I will be on actually tomorrow night, guys. I'm going to be on Sirius Radio. I agreed to do a 2-hour late night fill-in appearance on Sirius. So if you're going to be listening to Sirius Satellite Radio, you can turn on the Fantasy Football Channel at 11 p.m. I will be hosting a 2-hour show.
Let's go.
So I cannot do the live stream for the setup for Main Slate, guys. There it is. Fucking Michael, dude, bartender, 12K. That's a lot of tips, bro. That's a lot of Guinness. Michael, what's the drink that you specialize in? Like, if I come to your bar and I ask for even like a basic drink, like an old fashioned, are you crushing it? I need to know. You crushing that? Or are you one of these bartenders that's just pulling beer tab? Like, I think Michael probably can make a mean ass fucking old fashioned. It's like, no, dude, I'm making old fashioned. Check it out. It's not gonna shake. It's not gonna shake up a martini in a fucking glass. Yeah, there it is. I knew it.
There you go.
Dude, because you're not gonna crush DFS and be bad at bartendering. It doesn't go together, Bobbywow.
Does not at all.
Like for you to dive into DFS and be good at it, you're gonna be good at bartending. You're gonna be good. There it is. Oh, at a high end state. Where do you work, bro? I'm hungry. Might come out. Are you in New York by any chance? Pay a visit. Employee discount. All right. Let's wrap it up, Bobbywow. The YouTube algorithm doesn't like 1.5 hour long video.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Good luck tomorrow, everybody. We will see you. I will see you next time tomorrow on the Players Club. Bobby and I, of course, showdowns Monday to Sunday. How many more showdowns do we have here?
Got Sunday night. We got Thursday. I think Thursday night. One more.
Is Monday night done?
Maybe not. Sunday and Monday. That might be it. Geek.
We got one more Monday night. Got a Sunday nighter. We got one more Monday night. Ugh, it's gross. And then next week, that's it. Week 17. I think we might lose Monday Night Football. Nope. Week 17 gets you Monday night, no Thursday.
Perfect.
Thursday football gone, week 17. And then, of course, week 18, only Sunday. For some reason, the games aren't even showing up here. All right. That'll do it. Good luck, everybody. I'll see you at the top of the leaderboards.